जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वांछा कल्पद्रुभश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यं च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय। ओम नमो, you can repeat after me. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing chapter 4, verse 31, 32 and 33. These are the three verses allocated for today's class. So I think today's on the Bhagavad Gita class is, I think, after a couple of weeks, right? In between, one class was done by Yogesh Prabhu about 2 weeks ago, perhaps, right? So I have the tendency to forget the link in between what we were studying last time. Just for my own recapturing, what we will do is I'll just quickly recap what we are going through before we come to this verse 31, 32. So chapter 4 is entitled as Transcendental Knowledge. Transcendental knowledge is what? Is transcendental knowledge about Krishna. The first 10 verses from 1 to 10, they talk about the transcendental knowledge. What is the transcendental knowledge? That Krishna is the absolute truth, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and who comes to this world to protect eternal dharma. And one who knows this is factually liberated. So this is the fundamental transcendental knowledge. And how this transcendental knowledge should be received? In the verses it said, it should be received by the disciplic succession only. And once you receive this knowledge from disciplic succession, then it will reveal you the truth about Krishna's form, birth, his activities, his pastimes. And knowing this truth, if you take the shelter of Krishna, then you become purified and you'll be attracted by Krishna. Thereafter, in few verses, which I think I covered in previous class also, they discussed about the karmas, karma, vikarma and akarma. Then it was mentioned that transcendental knowledge is akarma. Akarma means the karma which has no reactions, which are basically karmas done as a part of the pure devotional service, in the service of the Lord Krishna only. That is called akarma. So after these verses of the karma, vikarma and akarma, then from verse 425 to 433, it relates to the attaining jnana through yajna, through sacrifices. So what is sacrifice? First, let us basically understand what the sacrifice means, what the yajna means. In fact, the real desire, or you can say the need of any man is what? To attain love of God. That is a fundamental desire. We may not have a desire, but that is the need is there definitely. Whether we realize that need or not, that is a different issue, but that is the fundamental need. But the man wants to satisfy this. How? By acquiring the worldly objects. Because, why? He has an inclination towards the world and he has the disinclination towards the God. That is the reason we get attracted, the man gets attracted to the worldly objects. Now all these worldly objects are perishable. How it is possible, with the help of the perishable objects, you can satisfy something imperishable? That is not possible. So as a result, what happened? We continue. The man continues what? To acquire something, to act something. So long he has a desire to acquire, so he has a desire to act, he continues to remain in the cycle of birth and death. Then how to get liberated from this cycle? Very difficult. One can get liberated from this cycle of birth only when you perform the actions, not for yourself, but for the welfare of the others, without having any kind of desire. That is called sacrifice. That is called yajna, basically. Action performed for the welfare of others, not for your own welfare. Right? That is the common sense sacrifice is there. We want to do something for the other person. When the same actions are performed for the welfare of the others, what happens? Over a period of time, you get renounced from the worldly objects and you get detached. But if same actions are done not for the welfare of the others, but along with the welfare of others, it is done for the welfare, for the pleasure of Krishna. Then the same actions, with the same action, you also get the worldly renouncement, detachment, and along with that, you attain the love of God. That is the first thing you get it. That is what basically the sacrifice is there, but that's a higher level of yajna is there. Now in previous verses, which have been covered in the previous classes, from verse 25 to 29, various kinds of sacrifices were discussed, which last class Prabhuji also covered. First discussed was that the Karma yogis, how they sacrifice, they worship the devtas, demigods. And then there are Jnana yogis, what they do? They sacrifice in the fire of Brahman. And then there are brahmacharis, what they do? They sacrifice the senses. And then there are grahasthas, they have the sense objects, they sacrifice the sense objects. Then the people who have the possessions, money, this is called as the dravya yajna, you sacrifice your possessions, give the charity. Then there are some called tapo yajna, that you do tapa, you do austerities. So they do the yajna with the austerities. So this way, there are various kinds of yajnas are explained there. Then the last verse was, that is verse 30, just prior to that, where it was mentioned, what is the purpose of this sacrifice? Why you do these sacrifices? Why you do this yajna? If we see the common aim of all the sacrifices which have been discussed in the previous verses, the common aim is only to control our senses. Somehow or the other, we control our senses. Since sense gratification is the root cause of the material existence, therefore, unless and until one rises to the above this level, he cannot elevate to the eternal spiritual platform. Now, if we see that this is the purpose of the sacrifices, then it gives general perception. You know, the people who are outside this room, most of the people in the world, what they see, what the general thinking is there? Khao, piyo, mojo dao. In Hindi, you call it khao, piyo, mojo dao. I mean, just enjoy your life. Who cares for the next life? Be happy, be enjoy during this life period. Who has seen the next life period? That is the general thinking among the people. But then those people also think that the people sitting in this room, they are not concerned about this life. They are more concerned for the next life. So as a result, they sacrifice everything. They will not eat anything. They will not eat egg. They will not have any protein. They will not cannot take any drink. They cannot smoke. They cannot take tea, coffee. They cannot eat food from the outside. These are all the austerities. They are not, people are not enjoying anything. So general feeling is that if the people who want to enjoy in this life, they will not enjoy in the next life. And the people who wants to concern about the next life, they are not enjoying this life. That is what the general perception is there. But let us see what the Krishna says on that. Mother, want to read the next verse and we'll see what the Krishna is saying on this? Yes, Mother. Go. Yeah. Thank you, Mother. So nice. You see, the general perception was the people who enjoy in this life, they do not enjoy in the next life. And the people who worry for the next life, they don't enjoy in this life. But in this verse, Krishna is saying something different. He's saying, if they do not have happiness even in this world, then what to speak of others? It means the people who are not happy in this world, they will not be happy in the next world also. If we go back in chapter 3, I think there's a little echo, Prabhu. Can we just reduce the volume? Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. This is okay. Thank you. If we go back in chapter 3, in verse number 10, it was said that yajna is the principle by which our needs can be fulfilled and also our long-term destination can be obtained. This was covered in chapter 3. And in the next verse it was said that Devta being satisfied by you and you being satisfying the Devta, you can attain long-term good, eternal good. Shreya Prem, Shreya Param. Shreya means ultimately good, Param means which is supreme. So in the process yajna, there is basically the internal pushback that when you do the yajna, you do sacrifice, the person's consciousness gets elevated. That is how the yajna works. And ultimately the person goes for the liberation. So the point to understand here is that Krishna is talking that yajna is the basically sacrifice. Yajna is the foundational for happiness in the world, this world as well as in the future world. Now, if we see in the real life, in the practical real life, in the family life, if there is any selfish family member, whether it is a husband, wife, mother, father, do you think that family will be happy? If the husband is only concerned for himself, he is not concerned for the wife, the life will run. And if the wife is only concerned for her job, for everything else, for her beauty or anything, and doesn't care for the food and everything for the family can run? No. Similarly, whenever children grow up, by default, as a parents, we have some expectation from the children. And we expect cooperation from the children. And vice versa, the children also have the expectation from the parents. This is the normal thing. So without sacrificing ourselves, without having that selfless attitude within the family also, even within the family also, one cannot remain happy. But to talk about the outside sacrifice. Here in the purport, when we're reading, what Srila Prabhupada is saying, that there is only one loophole in this material entanglement. That is the loophole is what? Human life. And the Veda's role is to help us to escape this. How the Veda give us a chance? By pointing out toward the dharma, arth, kam, moksha. That with the dharma, on the path of religion, as per the Vedas, you do different kind of sacrifices. And once you do the different kind of sacrifices, automatically your economical problems will be solved. And you will get enough food, enough milk, enough water to live your life. Now it is but natural that when your basic needs are fulfilled, then what happens? Our senses become the next stage to satisfy the senses. That is why the Vedas have prescribed to have the sacred marriage so that one can have regulated sense gratification. And then gradually one is elevated to the platform of moksha. That is how the dharma, artha, kam, moksha goes by. Now, at the level of liberation is concerned, now there are different grades of material comforts and there are different heavenly planets. Depending upon our sacrifices, which we have performed, we can go to the different heavenly planets. But the highest planet is the spiritual planet, which by practice of Krishna consciousness, leading the Krishna conscious life, you can go to the Golak Vrindavan. Recently, we can see the live example that my own spiritual master just left body a few days ago. He spent the whole life in Krishna consciousness. He sacrificed everything. He was told by Srila Prabhupada that you are an engineer. He was an engineer by profession. That there are so many engineers in the world, but we are in need of preachers. Next day, he left his job and he came full time in the preaching. So that was sacrifice. How many of us can think of that kind of sacrifice? He didn't worry for that, how he's going to feed his family. But Krishna made the arrangement in such a way that some of the other, his children got educated, children got married also. And I was fortunate enough to attend his daughter's wedding also. But Krishna had the different plans, and it was a wonderful marriage. And now I was in Vrindavan recently, when he was about to leave his body. He was unconscious for 7 days, lying on the ventilator in the hospital. And he was brought in Vrindavan because he has the ultimate desire to leave his body in Vrindavan. The moment he entered in Vrindavan, his consciousness started coming back. And when he was brought in front of the Radha Shyamsundar deity, he said, Shri Radhe. The first time after 7-8 days, he opened his eyes in front of Radharani, in front of the altar of Radha and Shyamsundar. And after that, the person who was unconscious, lying on the ventilator in the ICU with the best medical facilities, was not able to speak, not able to open the eyes. The same person opened the eyes in front of Shri Radha Shyamsundar. The same person for next 2 days was able to wave hands and was able to bless the devotees. And after 2 days or 3 days, he left his body in the midst of devotees chanting Hare Krishna in front of the Radha Shyamsundar, in front of his deities. So how he got that liberation is by of the sacrifices, by yajna. The sacrifices made by him during the whole life. That is how the Krishna made the arrangement. In Mahabharata, there is some question answer from the Yaksh and Yudhishthir. There in one of the question, Yaksh asked to Yudhishthir was, what is the divinity of Kshatriya? And what constitutes his Sat Dharma, true duty? Then Yudhishthir Maharaj said, the Shastra Vidya is the divinity of the Kshatriya. But what is his Sat Dharma? His Sat Dharma is the sacrifice, yajna. Means high responsibility for the Kshatriya. Performing duty in war without any selfish motive, that is the highest form of yajna for a Kshatriya. But this sacrifice, this yajna is not just confined to the physical protection, but it also includes the inner sacrifice of ego, attachment, personal desires, offered everything for the greater betterment of the society as a whole. That is how the importance of the yajna is there. So that is why the Lord is saying the people who are not performing yajna cannot be happy even in this life, what to speak of the next life. Therefore, we have no choice. We have to perform yajna. We have to have the sacrifice. We have to have the selfless life. If we see in this world, nowadays, the younger generation, people are becoming, younger generation, more and more becoming more miserable. I can see in my own public practice also, a lot of divorces and separation happening. Why? Because this yajna is missing. This sacrifice is missing. Sacrifice for each other is missing. Tolerance for each other is missing. That is the reason of all these miseries. So this is what that is why Krishna is saying, if the yajna is missing, then you cannot be happy in this world. Naturally, if that is missing, you will tend to do certain other wrong things, and then your next life will also get spoiled. Now, so many sacrifices have been given in the Vedas. But the question for us will be, what is good for me? What is good for you? What is good for you? Different sacrifices are for the different persons. For that, we will read the next verse. Yogesh Prabhu, you want to read the next verse, Prabhu? So variety is the nature of the creation. God, Krishna, is so amazingly innovative creator that he has ensured that 7 billion people living in the world have different biometrics. We all have the different biometrics. He made the things in such a way that nobody has the same biometrics. Otherwise, this biometric system of the government will fail. And nowadays, you take the laptop, and Microsoft Office has, with the face, you can open the laptop. How? It means this technology recognizes your face. Whether you apply tilak or you remove the glasses, still it recognizes. I asked one IT person how it happened when you apply tilak and you remove the glasses, how that recognizes. He said, it doesn't recognize with tilak and glasses, it recognizes with your eyes. It means eyes of all of the people are different. We see the eyes normally, but there is some differences there in the eyes, technically. This is what the Lord has created the variety for that. Even the voice, you pick up the phone and you can recognize Jagannath Mishra Prabhu is calling, right? So from the voice you can tell, even though there's no video call, but you can make it out from the voice itself. So biometrics are different, voice is different, eyes are different. And you know, in the security, they keep the dog. Why they keep the dog? Because dog can smell. Each person has a different smell, right? Dog is able to identify. That is why the police depends upon the dog to identify the persons. So each person has a different smell. If so much variety is there, then naturally, everyone will have different way to worship the God also. It is but natural. In South India, in Andhra Pradesh, there is a district called Chittoor district. There is one Shiva temple that is called Shri Kalhateshwar temple. Anybody knows that temple? Shri Kalhateshwar. The story behind that temple is this, that once the Shiva Lingam manifested in the forest. And there were three great devotees of Lord Shiva in the forest. One was spider, and one was elephant, and third was snake. There were three great devotees of Lord Shiva. When spider saw this is the Shiva Lingam and he wanted to worship, he wanted to do some seva. And he said, it is in the forest, there is no sun, there is no covered place. And he wanted to do some seva. He created a nice cobweb to protect the Lord Shiva from sun, from rain, and from wind. And after doing all this, his arti and other thing, glorifying, he left the place. And after a while, in the afternoon, elephant came. And he saw the Shiva. Oh, my Shiva, he paid obeisances to the Lord Shiva. But he said, what is this? Somebody has the cobweb, not nice. He went to the nearby river, took a lot of water in the trunk, and he cleaned all the cobweb. And then he put up some bananas and fruits and flowers and offered to Lord Shiva. And then happily, he did his job and he left. Then in the evening, night time, snake came. He saw, my Ishdev, Lord Shiva is here. He paid obeisances. But what is this? Dirty flowers and other things are lying here. This is not good for the Shiva. He removed everything. And he brought nice stones, precious stones, and kept in front of Lord Shiva. So all their three served in their own way. Nothing wrong. Next day morning, again spider came, wanted to do Mangalarti of Lord Shiva. Om Namo Shivaya. And he said, what? My cobwebs are gone. It was very uncomfortable. Who did all these things? Anyway, he was feeling a little bitter who did it there, but he again did the same thing, created the cobweb. Then in the afternoon, again, elephant came. Again, he said, what is this? I kept all those flowers and other things. Again, he did the same thing. Then snake came. He also did notice what is happening. He was also uncomfortable, very annoyed. He did the same thing. So this continues for a few days like this, back and forth, back and forth. Then one day, all three decided, let's watch secretly who's doing all those things, who's doing this nonsense. And all three were hiding. Then spider came. Elephant saw, oh, you are the culprit behind it. He immediately squashed the spider. And spider died, obviously. Now, on the other side, snake was also hiding. He said, oh, this elephant, he is the culprit behind all these things. But I am not scared from the elephant. After all, it is a service to the Lord. With the service to the Lord, I can do anything. He immediately entered in the trunk of elephant. The moment he entered in the trunk of elephant was so uncomfortable and he started biting. Then elephant immediately pushed his trunk on the wall. And then this snake died. But before dying, he left his venom. And then elephant also died. Eventually, all three died. And when they went to Lord Shiva, he liberated all three of them. Because all three of them, what they were doing? They were doing service to the Lord. So similarly, we all may be willing to serve Lord Jagannath. Somebody wants to serve Barfi, somebody wants to serve Gulab Jamun, doesn't matter. Intent is to serve the Lord, right? Does not matter. Somebody wants chapati, somebody wants puri, does not matter. What to talk in the material world, even in the spiritual world, Aldo, this varieties is there. There is a one group of gopis in Chandravali and one is the Radharani. They both have the different, they both are rivals. But the intent is what? Intent is to serve Lord Krishna. The intent is not to serve with your own senses, but to serve the Lord. The bottom line is that Krishna says, all these sacrifices are perfect, provided one condition. That connection is there. Who is the connection? Connection to the Lord is there. If that connection is missing, like you have the phone, if the phone, the connection with the provider is missing, then it's a useless piece of box, right? The connection has to be there. So long that connection to the Lord is there, then it's fine. Doesn't matter. So you can serve the Lord the way you want. It does not matter. So long you are connected to the Lord, that is perfect fine. All these services are perfect. This is what it is said. Now, whether these sacrifices are important or the connection, knowing about the Lord is important, what is more important? That answer is given in the next verse. Let us read from Mataji's side. Yes, you want to read, Mataji, please.
O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of heart, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. The purpose of all sacrifices is to arrive at the status of complete knowledge, then gain release from material miseries, and ultimately to engage in loving transcendental service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, there is a mystery about all these different activities of sacrifice, and one should know this mystery. Sacrifices sometimes take different forms according to the particular faith of the performer. When one's faith reaches the stage of transcendental knowledge, the performer of sacrifices should be considered more advanced than those who simply sacrifice material possessions without such knowledge. For without attainment of knowledge, sacrifices remain on the material platform and bestow no spiritual benefit. Real knowledge culminates in Krishna consciousness, the highest stage of transcendental knowledge. Without the elevation of knowledge, sacrifices are simply material activities. When, however, they are elevated to the level of transcendental knowledge, all such activities enter onto the spiritual platform. Depending on differences in consciousness, sacrificial activities are sometimes called karmakan, fruitive activities, and sometimes jnanakan, knowledge in the pursuit of truth. It is better when the end is knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you very much, brother. So basically, here Srila Prabhupada is saying that sacrifice without knowledge is material, and sacrifice with knowledge is better. That is the fundamental crux of this purport. There is another verse in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 7:19, which says as Bahunam Janmana Mante Jnanava Prapadate. After many births and deaths, only the person who is in the knowledge, Jnani person, he surrenders to the Lord. How? When Vasudev Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudarlabha. Vasumati. When he knows what? That he, Lord, is the cause of all causes. Such type of person is very rare to get. Very rare to get. So what is the Gyan? Gyan means to understand basically our position, to understand the God, to understand He is the Lord and I am just a servant. Understand His position, understand our relationship with the Lord, and to understand what we are in this material world and what we will be in the next life. So if we understand that I am just a part and parcel of the Lord, and my duty is to render this transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord, that is the highest yajna, highest gyan. Now, mechanical sacrifices are mentioned in the scriptures. We all goes to the holy places, dham. Some people just go there and visit there without any knowing about the significance of the Lord. And if we see, even in the scriptures, it said, like in Ramayana itself, Tulsidas said that you just take one time the name of the Lord Ram, that is enough. You will be free from the cycle of birth and death. Will everybody will chant Ram to come from the cycle of birth and death? Let us chant loudly. Ram! So does it mean now you all are free from the cycle of birth and death? Yes or no? You see, only one person is saying, whereas 30, 40 people have chanted the name of the Lord. Because we lack that confidence. We lack that faith. Yes, by just chanting the name of the Lord, we will be free from the cycle of birth and death. That is missing. So how it is possible? Does the scripture are saying wrong? Scripture says that if you chant once the name of the Lord, you will be free from the cycle of birth and death. But we don't get that confidence. Is the scriptures are saying wrong? Scriptures are not saying wrong. Then why we are not feeling that confidence? Scriptures are not saying wrong. But still we are not getting the confidence. Scriptures are encouraging us. Why we are not getting confidence? Because we are not getting that kind of feelings. We are not getting that kind of sentiments, of that feeling confidence. You know, I saw the Mataji was bringing the small baby to bring and touch the feet of the Vaishnavas. I think she had taken the child outside. Do you think the child knows to whose feet he is touching? No. Does the child know the significance of touching the feet? No. Even I brought the granddaughter and say, pay obeisance to the Lord. Does the child knows? No. The same way, but we are insisting that let the child do this activity. Once this activity is done, this becomes a part of the habit, then eventually the sentiments will come. Similarly, the scriptures are saying, you chant the name of the Lord, chant the name of Hare Krishna. You will be free from the cycle of birth and death. So once this activity is done, in the beginning you're doing them mechanically, but gradually this faith will come. These sentiments will come. This love will come. Bhav will come. But how the bhav will come? Bhav will come with the knowledge. Once you know that he is Krishna, he is the Supreme Lord, then your bhav will come. Let's take a simple example. This chair I'm sitting, I'll say this is a very special chair. So you will not have that kind of affection for that. This is just simply metal. But if I say this chair was in existence in 1966 and Srila Prabhupada gave lecture on this chair. This is the same chair. I brought it specifically from this 26th Avenue. Then everybody would like to see the chair. Maybe somebody would like to sit in this chair also. Somebody would like to pay obeisance to the chair. Automatically our bhav will be towards that chair. Oh, this is the same chair where Srila Prabhupada sat on that chair. Right? Why this came? Just because you got that knowledge that this is not an ordinary chair. This is something special chair. Similarly, once we get this specialized feeling that this is the Lord, this is the power of the mantra. When we saw this is the name which we chant, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That there's no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. Once we get that kind of knowledge by reading the scripture, by reading the Shikshashtakam, by reading understanding the Bhagavad Gita, and when we chant the holy name of the Lord, then literally Krishna dances on our tongue. That is how gradually our bhav will come. In the beginning, we may be doing this mala, just chanting mechanically, but gradually, as and when we are getting this knowledge, then this bhav and sentiments will start coming eventually over a period of time. Now, so if the knowledge will bring the sentiments, right? Then sentiment means then the bhakti will come. And on the other side, we'll say, bhakti, when the bhakti comes, then you automatically get the knowledge, right? So it means you get the knowledge, you get the bhakti, you get the bhakti, you get the knowledge. You know, the jnani, he needs years to gather, maybe lives to get to the level of the bhakti. But on the other side, bhakti, bhagat, he get very quickly with just performing loving devotion to the Lord. He can attain the same level which the jnani, the person who just with the knowledge, take millions of lives. That is the power of the bhakti. Now, how to get this knowledge? We need to get this knowledge from the disciplic succession, from the proper source. Mental speculation, dry arguments, independent studying of the scriptures. Or we can take the book and go to the forest. Arjun can go to the forest and would have sit there and got all this gyan. But yes, you cannot get that perfect knowledge by this process. That is possible only through approaching the bona fide spiritual master, bona fide guru. And there is a certain process involved for that. And that will be taken up in the next class by the next speaker in the next verse. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any question if I'm on time? Yes, Prabhuji, yes. If you are asking the question, I think you will have to answer it yourself, but anyway. Devotee's liberation means that he has gone back to the Golak Vrindavan, to the service of the Lord. He's again there. The liberation for the Karmi and the Jnani may be that he said the Brahman people who have the liberation meaning is that merging with the effulgence. But for the devotee, the liberation has the multiple meanings. The liberation for the devotee means he has gone back to the Godhead, ultimately. That's the liberation meaning for that. Is okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you are going to ask the question. That scared me. Yes.
So someone asked you that same question.
Yeah.
And Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself says that moksha means swarup.
Moksha means?
Swarup, yastiti. What is a swarup? A swarup is, Jivira Pai, Krishna. So that is when we are reinstated in a position as the eternal servant, serving the Lord, that is real moksha. Because that is our real swarup.
Sarup, yes.
Anything outside of that is not swarup. So until we are reinstated in that mindset, that is not moksha. So moksha doesn't mean going back to God all the time. We can also be moksha here in this world as long as we're serving Guru, Sadhu, Shastra.
Guru Sahib.
Because that is our swarup.
Wonderful.
Whether we're in the material world or spiritual.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for clarification, Prabhu. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for clarification. Good. Thank you for enlightenment, Prabhu. That is, I was a little worried that you are asking the question, but you are giving the guidance, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Radhika Prabhu, for a wonderful class. So we hope we can take those and carry on, because next class will be, as Prabhu said, will tell us, what does a guru do? He gives us this, that means he gives all these, the summation of sacrifice. If you look at the translation, tad vidi, tad means all these sacrifice culminate in the teaching of the guru. So we'll eagerly wait the class. I think 18th is Yogesh Prabhu who's giving the class, if I remember the schedule. So we'll, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll all stand up, and now we'll do the next part of the program, which is the Sankirtan. So this is the going on till 6:45. We have extra time. Oh yes. Actually, there's a very important announcement. So please hold on to your seats. Advaita Prabhu, would you like to do the announcement? So as well, we have people that are here for the first time. I see a couple of new faces. So we ask all of you to please hang around till the end of the program. There's Prashadam, and we'll also, there's Mother Bhavana. If you can, yes, so you can register your name with Mother Bhavana. We'd like to stay connected with you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. So just take your seat for 2 more minutes. So as Prabhuji said in the beginning, we have our biggest event of the year coming up in August 22nd, which is our Jagannath Love Feast 2026. So last month we did a fundraising where many of you committed some donation for this festival. Anyone who would like to, who is missing, can approach me, and then you can do a pledge. Many of you have already sent us the donation. Thank you so much for that. And people who have not yet done, I'm sure they will do it eventually. We trust you. Nobody is coming after you, right? That you pledged that much and why you have not done. So we trust you. But now we have to take that mercy of Lord Jagannath and forward it, right? We forward the message. So we have to forward the mercy now. So this is a donation form which I can give it to you, and then you can share it with your friends, colleagues, family. Take donation for the Rath Yatra, and then forward the mercy. Then they will come to the program, invite them to the festival. And if whatever they are donating through you, you can make a note in this form. And after the Rath Yatra, again, that is a trust we have with you. You can give this form back to us with the details and the donation what they have made, and we can issue them tax receipts. So this is a wonderful opportunity, and which you can avail and make others also fortunate to share mercy of Lord Jagannath. So I have this form with me. I will give 5 forms here to Prabhuji side and 5 forms to Mataji side. I will also forward this form in the WhatsApp group, so you can take a printout, or I can bring more printout next time if these are less, and then share it with your friends, family. Even if everyone from this congregation, only 5, right? We have 1 more month. So if we do only 5 more people, only 5, and even if they give, whatever they give doesn't matter, but we bring 5 more souls to the mercy of Lord Jagannath. So do your best to give this form and the mercy of Lord Jagannath to others. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी रामदेव सारस्वती गौरांग विजय विशेषण्यादिभाष्याति देशतारे धन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे हरे